Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Perspectives. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are excited. And man, when I tell you we got a hot show tonight, it's scorching hot. I'm telling you. LaTanya and I have been excited about this show because tonight we're talking about sack chasers, protecting your bag and your coin. We're going to be talking about tonight, what do we need to do to protect ourselves when it comes to relationships, dating, marriage? How do we protect ourselves financially? Certainly you guys have heard about the guy in Atlanta. He was arrested in Tennessee that duped this female out of 80 grand. And so LaTanya and I thought about it. There is a legal component as well as an emotional component that we really need to discuss tonight, because I think that we've come down to a place in our society where even in a dating relationship, you need to be protected going in financially, because people are living together. They're putting their monies together. They are starting businesses together. They're buying homes together. And I'm not talking about married people. I mean, people who are just dating. And now they're left some kind of way when the relationship breaks up. So we want to talk about that tonight, and we want to get your input about it, but we want to give you some common sense answers and solutions to protecting yourself. And of course, you guys know that LaTanya is an attorney, and you know she got a lot to say on both sides of this matter.
Uh-oh.
And so we're getting ready to put the pit bull out here to lay the foundation. All right, LaTanya?
Listen, wait, you cannot refer to me in any way as the pit bull, because there is a very well-respected attorney that I know that has trademarked pit bull in a skirt. I'm just letting y'all know.
All right.
Listen, she got people like the Beehive, right? I don't want them coming for me. So I'm letting y'all know. I just put it out there.
All right, I apologize. Well, we're just gonna say LaTanya is about to drop it like it's hot. That's what we're going to talk about, because LaTanya, you know, the thing about it.
You set some real high expectations for the night.
Oh, please, listen. You know, okay, LaTanya, so here we have it. We have women and men who are making more money than they've ever made, than a lot of African Americans have ever seen individuals make. Women have strong businesses. Brothers got strong businesses, and they're dating and they're getting together. You know, they're living together. They are starting other businesses together. They're buying homes together, buying property together, but they are married. And so when the relationship bottoms out, there is a legal problem now. That's a major legal problem. Even with those people who are not in business together, but they live together and they're intermingling their monies together. And so then we got the court shows that show this on a daily basis. So we can't say it's not real or no, that ain't gonna happen to me, because it's very real. So LaTanya, let's talk about that. You know what I mean? Like, so have we come down to, in our society, where even dating people who are solid financially need to do something that's equivalent to a prenup? And what does that look like for single people? You know what I mean? We know about prenups when it comes to the marital issue, but are we there now? Like, are we there based upon what we're seeing? And if so, is there anything legally that we can be, you know, in tune to?
Yeah. So here's really the situation, Mario. Unfortunately, yes, we are, I believe, at a place where we really need to be thinking about that. Now, as far as prenuptial agreements and things of that nature, like, I don't know that it would be called a prenuptial agreement, but you definitely got to you have to think about this with the end in mind, right? So for those of you that are not married, that are in those situations, you have to think about, this really is a business arrangement. Right. Even when you're married, quite frankly, but you had asked specifically about maybe people that are not married. You have to really think about this like a business arrangement, number one. Number two, there are some states that still have something called palimony on the books. And basically, palimony is kind of a throwback from the common law days, where you have people that they come together, right? They don't go through state-sponsored marriage.
Okay.
They come together, and then they are in a place where now they are looking to split up. So they do have assets. They do have one partner that maybe has come to a standard of living based on the other partner's support. And so if you live in a state that recognizes palimony, guess what? Now you are fighting in court over quote unquote assets, and you may be in a situation where you do have to pay that person money for for a certain period of time, just like you would alimony, right? It's not like that. It's not recognized in all states, but definitely in some community property states, you do have that. Now, let me say this before we go any further, right? I ain't your lawyer, okay? Right. Nothing that I say constitutes legal advice. This is education. This is information. So I want to make sure that I just put that out there, because I don't need nobody going home telling their man or their woman that I said that if you leave them, you're going to get some alimony. So let's just put that out there.
Well, let's say this too. Guys, listen, if you know somebody that's in this situation tonight, please invite them on right now. Click your share button with them. Bring them into this so that they can be a part of this discussion. Okay, so we're very concerned about this because there is an emotional component as well as a legal component to this. Because, what I see, LaTanya, a lot of times are people who are in love. They believe they're in love, and I believe it's genuine. And they believe, and we hear this all the time, no, what's mine is yours. How are we going to divvy up bills? Let's intertwine our money because we're so in love. And to be quite honest, in reality, what I say is you really need to rethink that. You never need to be so in love that you lose financial sensibility. And let me say that again, because I want you to get that in your spirit, all in your spirit. You never need, I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care. They can blow your mind, your back out, whatever. But you don't ever need to be so in love that you lose financial sensibility, because there's no guarantee if it's a marriage or a dating relationship, how it's going to end up. So you don't want to get so involved with this person that you become so crazy that you lose sight of your financial stability. You can't do that, And so I think that we've come to a place now when we see all of these stories about people who are being duped. I think, LaTanya, we were talking about a female took a guy for like $143,000. You see?
Yeah.
And so we can't say it's not happening. So what I want to know is, even in the comments, are some of you, dating someone, you are solid, you got a business, but you in love, and you're bringing them in, you're kind of footing the bills and you kind of pushing it a little bit. Like, have you covered yourself?
Well, let me say this, while they are either, participating, some people may not want to put that out there, right? Because somebody might know their man or their woman. But one of the things that I would say about business is that you gotta always protect yourself. Like that's just what you got to do. I mean, whether it's business or what, you have to always think about yourself. You got to always protect yourself. And so like Mario mentioned, with regard to being in love and things like that, that's great, right? That's wonderful. That's fabulous. But you have to think about your business like you do any other thing that you're trying to grow. And so you have to ask yourself, is this the right person to be this involved? Number one. Do they have the skill set to take your business to the next level? Are they enhancing anything for the business? So you really have to think about that, or are they just referring people? Because if if you're getting referrals from them, that's fine. Like, I don't know. Let me say this. When I counsel folks, right? And when people come to me and they're asking about this, I always advise them to think very critically about whether or not they really want to add and bring this person into the business, either in partnership or in any type of significant way, because you run the risk of having your personal situation, right, now be a detriment to your ability to make money. And if this is your livelihood, you're really jeopardizing your livelihood, because think about it. If you can't trust them in your personal relationship, now that's going to bleed over into your business relationship where they may be very trustworthy. So you just got to think about that. I don't know. I think it's a challenge. I also talked to people on the flip side that they were dating somebody and this person was trying to get it together. And so they jumped in, they helped them, they worked, they was grinding, and now the business is up and running. And so he or she is like, okay, now they've called off the relationship. So now by that time, now they're coming to me saying, well, what's my interest? Right? Yeah. I mean, I helped them build this business and you don't have none unless you put something down on paper. So you still got to approach this as if it's a business arrangement, because look, you're building a business. And anybody that is trying to be with you and they're saying to you, well, you're telling me that you love me, so why can't you just do this? Okay, well then why can't you just give me my cut, my 20%, my 30%, 40%, 50%, whatever it is that you're asking for. If you love me, you're going to make sure that I am going to reap the benefits of all my hard work. Like, yo, I'm putting in some sweat equity too. So I think you have to really be realistic, because I've seen people crushed by this very situation. And now they're coming to me like, well, what's my recourse? And if they didn't have the proper systems in place, ain't no recourse.
Right. Well, let me say this, because I understand the difficulty that a person would have when it comes to having that conversation. You see, it could actually be a difficult thing to have. I get it. But what I think is really important is you really have to be an adult about this, because it is impacting your financial bottom line. So I really believe that you have to decide, how do I have this conversation? It's not one that you can really avoid, because you are talking about putting your name on documents that will have long-lasting terms to borrowing money, extending credit lines, and so on and so forth. And so I think that is real critical to be able to say, I must be able to sit down and have this conversation and you not be offended, either party. There's really no space in there for offense, because this is about business. So what I'm saying, LaTanya, is that be a business person, even in this matter. As much as you love them, really sit down. So let me ask you this. So when you're counseling people and they come to you, are you finding resistance to the conversation? Like, are you finding them having a hard time forging that conversation with they about their business and how they should regulate it? Because I think you do have to regulate. This is about regulating. And you can't be a boss and you won't let Bay know that there are some parameters to this matter. This business was going on before we got together, and I really don't want to bring you in on it. I don't care what you do or whatever. I think sometimes it's even wise not to mix the two. That's me. That's what I feel. I feel is, I don't care what you do. I think in a dating situation, I don't want to mix that, because I don't know where this is going. And I don't want to find out later that I got to deal with all of this. So my thing is, I don't think it's very wise to mix the two. I think if I have a business prior to me getting in this relationship, it needs to remain mine. It needs to remain mine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of the time, at least in my situation, most of the time it's not a situation, Mario, where somebody's trying to take the business or even become a partner. What I see is that they're just coming in as part of the business and they're causing trouble, right? So like now the people that you were working harmoniously with, they don't want to work with you no more because your man is talking too much or your woman is talking too much, or they're trying to come in talking about something that they don't even know what they're talking about. Or now they see the employees doing something and they feel the need that they need to step up and now they need to regulate like they're the CEO, right? Mm-hmm. So I see it's really a lot of interpersonal problems. That's mainly what I see the majority of the time. Now on the back end, right, it's a situation where, you know, I supported you, you know, I was working while you was pushing this business, or I was doing this. That's then where the problem is. And so you gotta manage expectations. You gotta set expectations, because right. Like I'm a full-time businesswoman, right? And so for me, it wouldn't be, well, I wouldn't necessarily be in that situation, because as a lawyer, you can't bring non-lawyers in anyway as partners into like a law firm environment. You can't do that. It's restricted. So you get some protections, you know, I guess as far as that goes. But if my significant other were a lawyer and they did something that complement what I do, or I do